Hello and welcome. So I'm here today with Jacob to do the interview series and the continuation of this project from earlier in the year. And yeah, I'm really excited to have Jacob here and share more about his service to the world, his mission with humanity, and more about his offerings. So Jacob, how are you doing today?
Amazing. Thank you very much for providing this space and doing what you're doing. I see a lot of value in it.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to share a little bit about your journey, how you took the holistic route and what brings you here today?
So my journey started quite early. I would say at the age of 8, I had migraines, which were hindering my life. At the age of 17, appendix was removed. And at the age of 21, I refused surgery because the only thing that I was offered as a solution by going the classical route was that I need to go through a surgery. And the way my appendix happened, I kind of lost trust in the medical system. I see so much potential great stuff that is coming there, and I wouldn't be here without the appendix being removed. So it goes both ways. But when I saw the processes, I decided for the second surgery that they told me for acid reflux that I'm not gonna sign up for that. And at that time, I think I was 21 years old, and I was pretty scared because I didn't know what can I actually do. There were no options given to me, and I was very scared that something wrong is going within my body. And I said no to it without knowing what my next month is going to look like, what my 3 months, if I'm going to be here or if I'm not. But it was start of my journey where I started really going inside and started exploring tools and alternatives. And we had a business where I spent 7 years in juicing industry. So I was learning a lot about people's stories and stuff. So that was my first stage of learning about the physical body. But then later on, my physical health got into the position where it was really bad, affecting my mind, my nervous system, and I got suicidal into depression. Yoga and meditation were the tools that at the times lift me up from that position. So, and then later different tools came in so I can see more of the whole body situation and I can deal with it. And during that time also the childhood triggers, past life traumas, all of that was just another layer of looking into things and unpeeling myself. And one day I was told by in Dominican Republic by a shaman that I'm a healer. And that was at the time that I was on my knees. It was like I felt like I don't know what to do next. How can I fix my problems? And that's where the shaman came to me. I was like, hey, you're a healer. And at that moment, it didn't really sound good to my ears. I felt like this is ridiculous. Like, why? How about? And I got angry. I was like, how about me helping myself then? If I'm a healer, how come I cannot help myself? And I laughed at it and I let it be. And then a couple years later, when I start looking back and seeing all the journey and things start coming together, I was like, whoa, okay, there's something to it that I can see more of it. And with that empowerment and understanding some of those past life and childhood traumas, why I was getting sick and in this cycle, it was a beautiful journey. And also through that and through other life situations, I was able to establish a connection with the divine, with the spiritual world, which I didn't believe much. I'm coming from very like rational background. I have to touch things and say, okay, this is real, or if it's not. And then you have to really make an effort to make me believe in something that's like invisible energies, spirits and stuff. But I have had enough examples in my life to be able to see that part and feel into it in my space. So that's sort of in a nutshell the journey. And I'm now sharing what I have learned with others. That's where I'm sitting right now.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. It sounds like despite the challenges you face with your health and other aspects, it's been very empowering and it's led you here today to step into your soul mission as a healer and to create communities and help people who gravitate towards that and really resonate with this. So you touched upon how yoga and meditation had helped you, and also, your connection to the divine and source. So what exactly are the tools that you work with today and that you're offering as part of your service to humanity?
So for me personally, it might be something different than what somebody else would need to work with. But I have noticed that it's important to work with 5 different categories that I recognize. That's my own creation of how I see things. And probably you can cut it in different and slice it in different ways and name it different ways. I see the physical body, I see the mind as a separate, I see the emotional traumas and situations. I see energy as a part of we interact with all around us. And then I see the spiritual piece, which is the divine guidance that's just showing us the way through our intuition, through science, and all the other things that are always around us. Me personally, I'm a big believer in yoga, because for me, yoga is my meditation. I did meditation for quite a long time together with yoga. Then I did yoga separately, then meditation separately. I played with breath work, which I'm using for releasing emotions. A lot of people are so excited about breath work. I see it as a tool for, you can go to subconscious, but I see also this tool for releasing emotions, mainly to processing. And I do gratitude. That's such a big piece of after yoga. It's yoga every day. It's lemon water, celery juice, usually heavy metal detox, multi-medical medium. Gratitude. I'm learning other tools, and sometimes I switch it. Sometimes it's qigong, sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's just meditation. But I would say most of 80% of the times, yoga is there. Hydration, celery juice, lemon water is there. Fruit bowl. That's something that I start my day off with. Removing certain foods out of my diet because of my physical state and where I was and where I don't want to be again. And then I have done self-hypnosis, past life regressions. I have done a lot of rewriting memories, inner child healing. So all these tools I found very important for the emotional part and releasing and changing the reality through that. And self-love and understanding the energies, frequencies, how to stay on a certain frequency, how we are being affected through other people, through our own emotions and thoughts, how all that changes our reality, the attractions, the manifestation through that tools. So it's, I would say it's, for me, it starts with the yoga, because that opens a space in your mind for consciousness, for more reflection. And from there on, you can do way more things than if your mind is always spinning on something and doesn't let you listen to the inner voice, doesn't let you connect with the divine properly. And it's just doesn't even allow the subconscious to come through and be able to be worked on. So that, and I have constant communication and interaction with the divine through science, through messages, through animal totems, through, could be tarot cards, but that's not exactly my thing. But so many avenues that we have. Just looking at someone's shirts with some signs, some labels and stuff. I feel like I'm very interactive with that, and I believe everybody can have their own way. So those would be like daily day practices. Obviously, moving my body. That's something that I do very often. So everything stays in compact. And yeah, I would say those would be probably the main ones.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely resonate with all of the tools that you shared, particularly as they are supportive of developing deeper self-love. And just to touch upon, you mentioned the 5 elements. And for those of you watching who may be unfamiliar with yoga, there are actually 5 key points to yoga. So when we think of yoga in the West, we think of the asana portion, which is really the movement. So there is the movement, which is super important. There's also the pranayama, the breath work that Jacob mentioned, proper relaxation, positive thinking and meditation, and then also the proper diet. So thank you, Jacob, for touching upon all those 5 elements of yoga and what they mean to you. Yeah, definitely past life regression therapy, working with the emotional aspect of the body has been key, and to peeling back the layers, like the layers of an onion. And so with that, I'd like to know more about, so we can share with the audience today, what are your offerings moving forward, having all this wisdom, working through your own challenges, and just, creating this sustainable, self-loving environment for yourself? What are your offerings to the community?
Mm-hmm. So I noticed that clarity is one of the things that's very difficult to get, especially with the internet and all the information that is out there. It's very difficult for many people to figure out what is true source and what is really there to help them. Next to that is timing. A lot of people are getting lost with, okay, if they start with something, they don't know how long they should be. When do you start seeing results? How fast does this work? So you can get lost, even though you might be on the right path, because of the not knowing the timing and the effects of it. You might lose track or motivation at the moment where you might be going over the edge. So I feel it's great to understand this piece, because and then how to get the clarity. And the clarity is always, in my space, it's always about empowering and listening to your own intuition, but also knowing what has worked already. So if you have in front of you someone who went through a certain situation and they resolved it, for me, that's a good source to go to and ask, okay, how did you do it? And they might just need to understand the concept, but the tools might differ. So for me, what for me yoga does, they might just need meditation. Some people are not living in their head as much, so they might not need as much as what I need. And that goes to health assessment that I'm doing in all those 5 layers and going really deep from the childhood and even the parents, and really bringing in what is coming through when it comes to the physical body, where they are in their mind space, understanding that reflection, understanding their triggers. And most of those, they won't even be able to see unless they start applying self-hypnosis, going into the inner child work, allowing the breath work to bring those things up. So, and that usually happens after the yoga meditation, where the space in the mind is available to receive that extra layer of information and work through it and have that moment of self-reflection. So I see it comes in steps, but the moment you start, or at least that's what I have seen so far, the moment you start touching up on one part of the healing, usually all the other ones surface and will let you know, oh, there's something else that needs to be seen. So I start with the health assessment, which for me is like, I cannot do anything with anybody without that, because if a lot of people apply things, but completely flying blind without knowing, okay, where am I? What is actually happening? And they apply tools that are for other people, that are not for them. That the journey that someone else took doesn't necessarily have to be your journey if you're not resolving exactly the same thing. And even if you're resolving exactly the same thing, you are a different flavor. You might like to use different tools. And if you have tools that you don't resonate with, you're not going to stick with it. And usually healing is a long-term journey and not like this one weekly pill that we have been taught, and one ayahuasca trip resolves everything. I haven't seen that. There are great insights, and I don't bash on ayahuasca, but I have seen a lot of that and bringing a very various results. So it is about consistency. It's about understanding the root causes and everything. And then, so that's a step 1. Then I obviously share how I did my journey. So that's an online course, which is about self-healing, empowering yourself with knowing that you are the power and finding your own self within it, offering the tools for each category, and everybody can choose and pick up their own lifestyle, because everybody's healing journey is going to look different. Everybody's discipline is going to look different. Morning routine is going to be different. What foods you need to eat is going to be different. So that is a step 2. That's the online course, which again, it's not the online course, it's a one-on-one with me, but in a limited way. It's a base of information where you have all the tools and all the stuff that you need to, so you can find it. But I feel without the guidance, it's very difficult sometimes for people to find the way because of the limitations that we have. So if I was there to assess myself, I was very lucky because I also had a coach, so they reflected upon me. So it's like really allowing the outside perspective to help you to see more of you. It's a good point. And after that, once I have seen that, I see a lot of people who go, or a lot of souls that go through a beautiful healing transformation. They have the medicine to pass it to somebody else. So I empower them also on their journey to become a healer. And how do they present that? How do they find their niche, but still understand the whole base of what they need to understand? If someone comes through the niche, they might still need to be working on the 5 levels they might not be aware of. But like someone comes in, I have a migraines, what do I do? But then they unpeel different layers of the mind, of the emotional stuff. So that's like the final piece to it, as someone who wants to make it their purpose, someone who feels I'm here, everything that happened to me is something that I'm going to transform into my goal, then I'm going to pass and support somebody else with it. So that's in a nutshell, a long nutshell, what my offerings are like.
Thank you. It's very beautiful, and I'm excited to share more about your workshop and share that with the audience and community. I guess my final question is, how can people find you? I know here you have your handle at you_the_healer. Is there any other way people can contact you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so Instagram, that's where it's the main flavor, where people can figure out, okay, how do we match? They can find a lot of freebies. Most of the stuff that's there is just like value that I have found out for myself and sharing it with the world. So that's at you the healer with the underscores like that. And then I have a website with the same name, you the healer without the underscores, altogether.com. And that would be probably another place where we can connect and they can see the offers and all the other stuff.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate you coming on today and sharing more about you and your journey and what you have to offer. So that concludes the mini interview today. Thank you again so much. And for those of you who are interested, I'll leave Jacob's details below so you can follow up and reach out to him, as well as the workshop info.
Thank you, Manesha.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.